Hey, welcome back to the podcast. So my team, specifically Brenda over here, posted on, I forget what it was, probably Instagram, and said, hey, who would you like us to interview? We've never done this before. I have a feeling after this podcast, we're going to do it again. And the name Shannon Gillette just got over and over. She crushes it on video. She crushes it on Instagram, and she crushes it in her business. So Shannon, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm a huge fan of Tom Ferry. I feel like, first of all, I can't believe how much free content you give to the real estate community. So thank you for all you do. And I honestly don't think I'd be where I am in my business without, the videos of yours, the podcasts that I watch. So it's a complete honor to be here.
Well, thank you. You're very kind, but you know what? And I know you know the benefit of it. I'm doing exactly what I want everybody else to do, and you're seeing huge results from it. So I want to get into all of that because you've got some great Instagram stuff, some video stuff. This woman has created a cult-like following. Everybody wants the same thing. You call it a come list me call. We call it a I know you, like you, and trust you call. And Shannon gets them all day, every day, and we want to teach you to do the same. But you weren't always this rock star. So we were talking off camera. You and I have a different or a similar experience in that we didn't go to college, and straight out you went right into real estate. So give us just a little bit of the backstory of your real estate career from the leasing side into new home construction. Give them your story so they understand.
Yeah, so I learned a strong work ethic from a young age. I was raised by a single mom. We didn't have a lot. I had to work for everything that I have. So right out of high school, I got a job leasing apartments. And I learned at this young age also just what an honor it is to help people with their home. Even if it's an apartment, that's still the safe place they go to at night where they raise their family, like their home. So I just developed this passion for helping people with their home. I was leasing apartments. I was doing really well at it, winning all the awards. But I was making $100 every time I leased an apartment. So after 3 or 4 years of that, I'm like, man, I want to sell new homes. And this was 2005. I got my real estate license. And back in 2005, we all know the market was crazy. Builders weren't even hiring. And if they were hiring, they required a college degree. So for 1 year, I applied and applied. It was my goal. I didn't give up. I'm like, I know I would be good at selling new homes. You just have to give me a chance. Finally, a year later, I got called in for a group interview, offered the job the end of 2006 to sell new homes. And I went in running like this was my dream job. My coworkers just got out of this crazy market. The recession was coming. I was 23 years old. I was the #1 new home sales consultant in the entire country for the largest builder, probably one of the youngest new home sales consultants during the recession. I did that for 8 years, but during that time I got married. I have 3 little boys. I had 2 of my kids, and in new home sales, you live in your sales office. You don't get to go to your kids' football games. I was sitting in my sales office as my oldest took his first steps. I got to see that on a video from work. I'm like, this is horrible. So the last year of it, I was literally crying driving to work every day. And anybody that comes from a corporate background can probably relate. It's just horrible. You're stuck in this office. But I also saw the recession. I saw so many realtors fail. In Arizona, where I sell, we have 55,000 licensed realtors. And I was like, man, this new home sales, it's a little bit more consistent. It's very scary to leave this, but I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't even have days off with my husband. I left new home sales in 2014, started 100% fresh in resale. Even my own family didn't consider me a realtor, even though I had sold and closed hundreds of new homes. So I had to start fresh. I didn't have any money to do anything crazy. So I really wanted to do things different and really focus on social media branding and video. And thanks to a lot of your podcasts and things, I implemented that. And this year in 2020, I'll personally close over $40 million. Personally, those are the clients I took out and showed homes to, not my team.
So Shannon, that you gave so much insight there, but I want to unpack some of that. So let's go back to you're 18 years old and you're leasing these old people apartments. They're 25, 27, 28, maybe in their early 20s. Did you ever have any of the hangups with girl, you're young? Did you ever any of that insecurity, that lack of confidence? And if so, how did you overcome it in the early days?
Yeah, honestly, when I was young, I would get very embarrassed when they just assumed I probably went to college and leased apartments part-time. And they would ask, well, where do you go to school? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't go to school, I'm working full time and, learning the life skills of sales. I was more qualified than probably those college graduates to sell homes. But yeah, I mean, it was tough. And I still get that today. I'm now 36. And some people are like, wow, you're really young to sell my home. But,
Yeah.
I specialize in a very unique form of marketing with social media and video. And,
Yeah.
I'm one of the top agents in Arizona.
So it's different when you're 36 and you're female versus when you're 18. They're like, you're young. You're like, why, thank you. So then you go into new home sales, but when you said I spent a year interviewing, you were raised by a single mom. Like, help us understand, like, are you an only child? Do you have lots of siblings? Where did that tenacity come from?
Yeah, so I had to work for everything that I have. I mean, we didn't have anything growing up. We didn't even have a dining room table. There were many years we ate dinner sitting on the floor around a coffee table. So I learned this great work ethic, but also I knew I didn't want that for my life. Like I just work hard. I don't give up. I don't take any, shortcuts. And ultimately you have to care about your clients too. You have to really know your why and why we're doing what we're doing. Like I never run after money. I've only ever received a 5-star review from my clients. You can Google it. Like nobody's ever said a bad thing, which is awesome. And just going in and knowing like we're helping people with a really big thing, their home.
Yeah. Yes. So, but where did the tenacity come from?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I just from an early age had to hustle and grind to, and have a goal mindset and just not give up.
Yeah. Yeah. Is your mom alive and still around? Do you get to see her all the time?
Yes. Now I have 3 boys, so she's
Yeah.
a great grandma.
That's cool. So you go into new home sales, and anybody that's done new home sales, one of my mentors who passed away, built thousands and thousands and thousands of houses. And it's a different sale, new home versus going out on a listing presentation, helping a buyer, decide between all these different communities, et cetera. What did you learn most in the new home sales business that helped you going into resale?
Yeah, so it was during the recession when at one time there were 19 other sales consultants in my one office. It was a very big master plan community I was selling in. I watched all of them get laid off during this time. Like they were spending their time standing around the water cooler, like complaining about the market. Nobody wants to buy a home. Like, I'm like, why are you guys doing that? Like work, like we can sell homes, like our prices are great. Like I was just on the phones calling, learning everything I could about new homes, knowing my product. So then I'm therefore confident about it. And then, treating people like human beings. And ultimately they bought a lot of homes, and also learning how to overcome objections and close the deal and all that. Like so many new home sales, you go into the office, they're sitting at their desk. They don't even stand up. They don't demonstrate the model, and they don't even ask you, for the sale. So I think that's really what helped me. And I had great success in new home sales. It was incredible.
Yeah. So where did you learn those skills? Because you're talking the language of very sophisticated, handling objections, dealing with conditions, and especially when you're in new home sales, it's a lot of almost like sales negotiations, right, to ultimately get to the yes. So was it just battle tested? Did you dig in through some books, some audio programs? Like where'd you get the training?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer that everything we want to learn is on Google and YouTube. Like there should be no excuses of why we don't know something. And thankfully, when I was leasing apartments, it was for a luxury apartment, management company, and they had a great training program. And so I learned a lot of those skills and just developed them over time and worked really hard.
That's awesome. So when you went into retail, it's 2014. That doesn't feel like that. I mean, it's 6 years ago, but it doesn't feel that long ago. So you make that transition. How did you let the world, like you said, like my family didn't even know I sold houses. Like they didn't even know you were a licensed real estate agent. How did you make that transition? And then we're going to get into all the Insta and video, but people are always curious about the backstory.
Yeah, so when you're selling new homes, you work with a lot of realtors on the other side. I could only sell new homes. So I got to sit on the sidelines and see these realtors come in, because if somebody wanted to buy my new home, they had a home to sell, they had to hire a realtor. And I would watch it over and over and over again. And unfortunately, it's still happening today, where these realtors would not do anything to market the listing. They'd take pictures, put a sign in the yard, put it in MLS, wait for the buyer to find it. I saw that. I saw just everybody using stuff they were using 15 and 10 years ago. And I still see that today. Like, as a realtor, you shouldn't have an at AOL.com email address. Your website should be amazing. Like, your branding should be awesome. Like, I wanted to just.
Hold on, Shannon, you have to know, like, my team is over here dying laughing, right? They know exactly what you're saying. So keep going. I apologize.
Yeah, so I was watching from the sidelines because I was sitting at my new home sales desk, while the realtors were coming in. I'm like, man, one day I'm going to sell resale. I was scared. I should have done it way sooner, but I was scared because I left like a very comfortable situation.
Yeah.
And I just want to do things different. Like, I want to be doing things today that other realtors won't start doing for 5 years. So I went in just branding my social media, doing video, doing all the things. And now I'm to a point where people just call me and ask if I'll list their home.
So let's talk about strategy. I mean, obviously, along this whole journey, you were blessed to work for like this sort of corporate apartment scenario, and then new construction where there's a lot of training, there's a lot of marketing, a lot of resources go into selling these properties. So when you made the dive into resale, like, did you come out with a plan, with a strategy? Like, hey, I'm going to go after all the people I sold a house to in that new construction area and ask them if they want to sell their house, as an example. Like, what was the early days? What were the plans? And then we'll get into the whole Instagram and everything else.
Yeah, really, I think when my career really started to take off was implementing video for my listings, because I was like, why aren't realtors marketing their listings? Not every buyer is actively looking on MLS every day for a home, or in your town or in your city. Like, there's so many people moving from out of state. It's so lazy to just throw a home up in MLS, even in today's market. I just had a closing a few days ago, $1.6 million home. The buyer literally saw the video on Facebook, wasn't looking for a home, had enough money to buy it, and was like, this house looks cool, I'm going to put in an offer. Like, there's so much power in video. So I do a professionally produced 60-second video commercial for every home I list. 60 seconds, because the average human attention span is only like 7 or 8 seconds. Don't do a 3-minute video. And then another thing is, I'm on every one of my videos, because then you have to get your face out there as much as possible and gain that trust. And now I'm recognized in public. Like, Instagram is so crazy. Even people recognize my kids, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know my personal life, you know that I have dogs and a lizard and all that stuff. So started doing the video, and then sellers were like, man, I see your videos everywhere, because I take that video and I target market it out. I learned how to target market on YouTube. So my average video is getting 10,000 views within the first 7 days. I've had videos, with 100,000 views, and that's all targeted. So that's kind of where it started. And then I slowly built my Instagram into more of a TV show versus a nonstop commercial, like most realtors use Instagram.
Yeah. Or worse, right? Just house after house after house for sale, totally stagnant. So you just talked about a lot of different strategies: short form video, 60 seconds, keeping your face inside it. That's branding, right? That's creating that I trust you, I know you, I understand you. And you also talked about having your kids, right? Your lizard, the dogs, right? Like, so that's kind of the behind the scenes, the real me. So these are all, very well thought out plays that smart agents and savvy entrepreneurs are running today to create that notoriety and brand. Was that the thought early? Was the strategy, I want to become this recognizable agent? Or was it, hey, I got to do video on listings, and it just one begat the next?
I never knew it would get to this level. Like, I never thought I'd be on the Tom Ferry podcast. Are you kidding me? Like, what? I still think, like, I can't even believe I'm here right now, but it just,
because you're killing it. That's why.
So the great thing with real estate is there are so many different ways we can generate leads and be successful, and you just have to be consistent. So I focus on Instagram, Facebook, video, consistent every day. Posting. I never list a home without a video. And you also have to have a call to action. So every home I list with the video, their home gets its own website with its own domain name. I use Relay HQ for websites, and then I have an IP tracking pixel ID on the back end. So anybody that clicks on the website, I can now continue to market them. So I could talk for days about everything I do, but it's just consistency. And it's really only 3 things. I mean, I don't do a lot of the other things. Like, I don't door knock. I spend my time on that.
So what are the 3 things? Listing video on every property.
Yes. So every home I list, even if it's a $90,000 lot, I have my own videographer. We produce a beautiful commercial. It's called, I've kind of started my own little, I don't know, maybe a TV show you could call it. It's called Home of the Day. So welcome to the Home of the Day. I'm Shannon Gillette with the Gillette Group at Launch Real Estate. Today we're featuring this home. It's 60 seconds, fast moving, with a goal for you to click on that website to learn more about the home. And I launched that on all the social media platforms, and then I pay to boost it to the right people. I also, on every home I list, I'm actually paying to reach other realtors, which some realtors are like, why would you pay to get your video in front of me? Well, I mean, I've sold so many homes from the videos,
Right.
and the realtor that maybe follows me on Instagram saw the video, brought a client. And yes, the market's crazy. A lot of realtors are like, you don't need to market, you just throw it up in MLS and get an offer. Well, my listings are getting 20 offers and multiple offers, and we're negotiating waived appraisals and waived inspections and $30,000 over list because of the marketing. So my clients deserve it. Like, I don't want to cut any corners. We shouldn't cut corners. And you stay consistent, and then when the market changes, you're going to, thrive.
So where did you learn all, like when you, like, it was funny when you said like, and tagging and pixels, I'm watching, like two of my producers over here going, yeah, like that's the shit. Like that's how you win. So where did you learn all that?
Well, I mean, some from you, right? Tom Ferry's podcast, but
Thank you.
this is literally my life. I'm like, man, when I go to Hilton.com and click off, I see those Hilton ads everywhere. How do you do that? So I go to YouTube, how to add a tracking pixel ID on the back end of my website. And I watch a video and I learn, and now I know how to do it, and I do it with everything. And then I also like Google how to do a Facebook ad to people that have recently been to my website. And I did it. So I taught myself, because everything we need to know is out there for free on the internet. There's no excuses.
Right.
Don't sit around and wait for your broker to teach you or the title company to teach you. We can learn it. And it's been awesome. Like, it's incredible to see the success, not only for me, but for my sellers. Like, they're getting an extra $30,000, and, they'll refer me to all their friends and family. And I genuinely care about my clients. Like, I want the best for them.
Yeah, you can see that. And what I love, I'm old school. So you have 3 boys, I have 2 boys. That mine are 21 and 19. But going back, 7 or 8 years ago, hey Dad, how do I? I'm like, GTS. Google that stuff, man. Everything you want to know is there, but like, be resourceful. So that also, being raised by a single mom, my dad was in the picture, but very not in the picture, right? So I know what that's like. You got to hustle. You got to go after it. So I'm going to hit you with just a bunch of just random questions, but all related to video. When did you hire your first videographer, and what did you do prior to that? And how much did you pay him?
Okay. So the video thing wasn't really being done in my market. Like, people would do this video of like a drone flying over the home for a minute, and it's like, boring. Nobody watches that. And there's like, so I had to start this. I don't know of another agent that does it the way I do, like a 60-second home of the day video. So do you know Jessica Edwards?
Of course.
So she was like my role model, and
in North Carolina.
Yes, so she was on all of her video shows. So like, she was my inspiration. I'm like, man, Jessica Edwards, like, she's so classy and professional. Like, I want to be like that. And so I would watch all of her videos, implement that. But I had hired a photographer. He was in college, like through a real estate photography company. He was at a listing, and I go, man, have you ever done video? He's like, no, but I'd be willing to try. I'm like, will you go on this journey with me? Like, this college kid now, he works for me, like goes to college, works for me that day, the days that he's not working. And we went on this journey. Like, my first videos were horrible. I delete a lot of them. I can't even look at them, but it's this journey, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't overnight. I didn't start getting come list me calls the first day. It took a year or 2. So I found him in college and literally was paying him about $300 a video. Some people might think, man, that's a lot of money, but when there's so much return on the investment, it's not even funny. You have to do video. You can't be doing what you're doing 5 years ago. You're going to be outrun by these other agents that are willing to do it.
So you literally answered every one of my videographer questions in one. It was like, my team's like, yeah, right. Because we always say, find the college kid, or we say, find the wedding videographer who's only working on the weekends and they're available Monday through Friday. So you nailed that and got the cost. But let's talk about Instagram. So I'm gonna change it though. I'm gonna say to you, tomorrow you leave Chandler, Arizona, and you go to Newport Beach, California, and you're licensed and you're at Banana Real Estate. Start on social. What do you do?
Yes. So there are a few things. Number one, you have to have your profile public. There are a lot of realtors that have a private page, or they have 2 pages. They have their personal Instagram and then a business one. I say do what I did years ago, delete the business,
Yep.
run off your personal, make it public. If you're a mom of young kids, like I know it's scary. It's scary to think I do probably have some crazy people watching my stories and they see my kids, whatever, like it is what it is. And just make your profile public and be consistent. And there's so much online to learn about Instagram, but really ultimately you have to treat it like a TV show and not a commercial. When we, like before the days of Netflix and DVR, when we would sit down on the couch and put the TV on, we didn't go there for the commercials. You watched your show and then the commercials were sprinkled in. We were forced to watch them. I don't understand why realtors use their Instagram like a big commercial, because nobody wants to follow that. They want to follow something that's entertaining. They're going on Instagram for entertainment and to escape reality. So letting them in on your daily life, like I really focus on my Instagram stories. And so I guess if I went to a whole nother market, just really continuing to do that and gaining my following. And at the end of the day, my goal, like when you see your Instagram story and you look at everyone that's seen it, I want to look at that and say, if they were asked today, because I sell mainly, it's Queen Creek, Arizona. If they were asked, who do you think of when you think of Queen Creek, Arizona? I want everybody that follows me to say Shannon Gillette, whether it's somebody that lives in my town, another town, a realtor here, a realtor there, because even if it's a realtor in my own town, I want them to say Shannon Gillette because it's so powerful. I had an offer in for a client last week, multiple offers. The agent called me and she goes, I've been following you on Instagram for a while. I trust you. I love what you do. I've always wanted to work with you. We're going to accept your offer. Like it literally got my clients.
Yes. Yes, it has. Again, it's, like I've been talking about this for like the last 3 or 4 years. People are like, well, why did you start doing video? And I'm like, it was a way to put out content for free that was high value. And I knew the internet and connectivity would catch up from 2007, 8, 9, that eventually would become the thing, right? I didn't know it was YouTube. I was hoping. But today, Shannon, can you think of a better way to engage, show people who you are, and scale trust than on video? Can you think of anything better?
It's incredible. You have to get your face out there, whether you're doing a professional video or holding the video in front of your face and just talking to your Instagram followers.
Right.
Even if you only have 20 followers, a lot of people get caught up. Well, I don't have 11,000 followers. Oh, you have 20 people that see your Instagram story every day. Could you fit 20 people at your dinner table tonight? No, like that's 20 people. It'll slowly grow. Don't get caught up in that. Everyone has to start somewhere. You just have to be consistent. And then those 20 people will be your fan club. Like my followers, they will refer everybody to me. Like they'll come up to introduce themselves at a restaurant, in my town. Like it's incredible, the power. And you can't have those excuses of why it won't work for you. Just get going with it and you'll see incredible results. And it's awesome. Like who doesn't love somebody calling you to say, hey, will you be my realtor?
Yeah. So go back and describe for us. So for the person that doesn't get TV show versus commercial, kind of give me the more tactical, like what does it mean to go TV show and do that versus commercial? We get the commercial side. Give me the tactics on TV show.
So you have to let people in your life. And it's so crazy because if you're not on Instagram, you might think it's weird. Like why post a picture of your smoothie you just made after a workout? Like why do people like that? I mean, I don't really understand it either, but people love it. Like I follow a realtor in Texas that every morning he takes a sip of coffee and he says, good morning, my Instagram family. Like that's weird, but I love it. Like it's weird. Like we have these virtual friends. We don't even know if we've ever met in person, but you run into them and you're like, hey, how's your daughter? Like my kids were homeschooling them. Like how's homeschooling going? Like, have we even ever met? Like, I feel like I know you. It's awesome. So just a TV show. And it has to be like, imagine if you take real estate out of the picture. If you were following maybe a mom that sells makeup and all she did was post makeup, would you want to follow that? No. But if she branded herself and showed you her kids and her mom life and her husband and date night and travel, and then she sprinkles in, hey, by the way, I sell this awesome makeup, you'd be like, man, I want to buy that from her. So yeah, totally TV show. And you just have to let people in on your personal life.
So what do you say to the person that says, because I get this all the time, but no, it's easy for you because like you're actually interesting. You have all these things going on, right? What do you say to that person that really and truly they're judging themselves against you, right? They're judging themselves against everybody else and not putting themselves out. What do you say to that person?
So you have to have a life outside of real estate. Obviously, I'm a mom. I'm really involved in my church. Like I'm not scared to say I go to a Christian church. I'll post a video of the band at church singing. Like not everyone's going to love it, like, but my followers will. And you have to be who you are. And, like have a life outside of real estate, I have to schedule things in. I'm out showing homes late at night, many nights a week. I have to schedule in like a dinner with my family and maybe a date night with my husband. Like we're very intentional about getting out of town, you know, every few months, like even for a weekend. And that's Instagram content. Like you're on a date night, like it's Instagram content. It's going to inspire people like, man, we really need to go out on a date night. Like say you don't have kids, but you have a dog, like you can brand your dog. I saw somebody that had a plant and they branded the plant, like, and everyone's like, how's your plant doing? Like, you know, maybe you're just a single guy and you like to hike or work out, like have a life outside of real estate, have that on, you know, brand yourself. There's so many different things. So
yeah, my team, like Robert Mack, who's constantly showing all of his crazy hikes and his journey on Peloton. My little brother, so funny I say my little brother is 45. My brother, Patrick, who sells down in San Diego, Shannon, he just starts posting photos of his Vizsla dog and literally, hi, come list our house, right? We have a Vizsla also. Can you bring your dog over? Right? Like over a dog. But it's people like to work with people that they feel are just like them or they aspire to be like, right? Or they aspire to be like. So I'm going to ask the question that I guarantee somebody's thinking right now. And I know it because I've gotten it from my own wife. Put your phone down. We're on a date. How does your husband deal with all that?
man, it's not easy. It's tough. Like my husband's amazing. Like he's homeschooling our kids right now. And like, but he also knows, like I've told them, like, trust me, family, I'd much rather be with you, but there are emergencies. Like there's times I have to get up from dinner and, you know, negotiate an offer or something, but it's tough. I wish I said
but that's okay.
I mean, I do like definitely if I'm at dinner on a date night, like I'm not going to be on my phone. Like it's an hour and it's at night, so there's not much going on. But it's tough. Like the struggle is real. I'm out there selling homes. I'm not just a team leader. Like it's hard.
Yeah, and I appreciate that honesty because you know, like my wife and I, she's like, I know you could be on your phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's by the time we come out of a movie, even if that might be in our home theater because we can't go to movies yet, like there's 75 more text messages, there's 8 million DMs. So, it's like balancing that to the best we can, right? So just keeping it real. So
and being intentional and planning out your calendar because real estate will take over your life. Like when you're selling, like I do 70 homes a year, like that's a lot of clients calling me and texting me and like being intentional, like, man, we're going out of town this weekend. Like obviously I'm still going to probably have to be working. And I mean, I hired a transaction coordinator years ago, best decision I ever made. Like, with one other agent on my team too. So just really I'm learning slowly. Like I don't have to take on every client. That's like this year's goal for me. Like I'm handing things over, which is hard because I'm controlling and I want to like help everybody. But I'm going to do that for sure.
It's I think every business owner listening right now knows there's levers that you pull, right, to increase sales, increase revenue, but there's also levers that you can pull to buy back time, right, to get more freedom, to do more of the highest and best. And we've talked about it obviously a ton on this podcast. So go back to Instagram. Like I wrote down, they keep evolving. Like, what do you think about Reels? How much time do you spend creating content? Is it just you, boom? Or am I going to see some snippets of like text and, some animation? Like, is somebody else doing it? Is it all on you? Help us understand that.
It's all on me. I do all my own social. I do all my own ads. Like I know that's an issue of mine I need to work on, but I do it all. It's a social network. So imagine you go to a party. I heard this on another podcast. There's 3 types of people at the party. They come in, one sits in the corner, doesn't talk to anyone. They're just watching everyone. One comes in and they're like, hey, look at me, just listed, just sold. And then another comes in and they have a genuine conversation with you. How are you? What do you do for a living? Like, where's your favorite restaurant? Like, and here's what I do. Like social media has to be, you can't just go post and then go on with your daily life. It's an investment in time. Like I'm investing about 3 hours a day into my Instagram. I don't plan anything out. It just kind of like, I'm strategic about it, but it's not a set plan or anything like that. And I go and take time to communicate and DM and, you have to build relationships with people and so much power right now with how the market is with multiple offers, developing relationships with other realtors. Like, don't be against each other. Like, there's enough real estate out there for everyone. Like, don't be enemies, like be friends, and it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah, big time. So you do your own, and it's interesting. Like I'm looking at my team because I've got a couple of people that will help because I can't edit, and it's just not the highest and best use. But thank God these guys can, right? And a few more. but I'm the one that engages all the time. And I think that's a huge, like you mentioned it, like a lot of people will post content and then they won't engage. Like when this goes up on Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter and everything else, and someone's like, oh my God, OMG, TF, you finally got Shannon. Oh my God, she's so amazing. I'm the one that's like, heart, like, yes, I totally agree. She's the real deal. That goes a long way, but it intimidates some people, and they all say the same thing. I don't have time. What do you say to that?
You got to prioritize your time better. Get up earlier, like be intentional. Don't watch Netflix. I don't watch any TV. I use every minute of my day intentionally. If I'm driving in the car, I'm listening to a podcast. Like, you have to be intentional. There is time, trust me. And it's so powerful. If you do this right, your business will flourish. You'll be able to help more people. Like, it's incredible. And I respond to every single DM that I get. I agree with you. Like, you have to respond. Like, these people took the time to reach out to you, and you have to respond for sure.
Have you tried the AMAs yet? Like on Instagram stories where you can say, just ask me any question. Have you tried that?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I actually copied that from you.
Yeah, it's that one is, for all my friends out there listening right now, and Shannon, you know, one day you'll do the same. Like, I literally could write 5 or 6 books just based upon this is what's on the minds of the people that are in my community. Like, this is my tribe. This is what they're thinking. This is what their problems are. And if I can keep delivering that value, it's massive. But it also helps you shape your marketing, your messaging, everything about that. What we're doing is like, we're learning from our customer. Right? Are you seeing the same?
And also, like, the more you respond, the more comments, we all know more people are going to see your stuff. So if you post a story, like, there was one time I was showing a house, I was on the 2nd floor, and the neighbor had all these bikes and trash in their backyard. It was horrible. And like, the clients did not buy the home because of the backyard neighbor. I took a picture. I said, would you guys buy a home with this view? Everyone was commenting, no. Like, it was like my highest ever engagement of anything.
For sure.
People love giving their opinion. So as a realtor, you could be out showing a home, you see a cool laundry room, take a picture and say, put a poll up and say, do you like this laundry room? Like, get engagement and all that. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
I love it. I love that you mentioned Jessica Edwards. I've known Jessica forever. I did a speech for her company one time, and I was literally talking about the power of video, and everybody kept like murmuring and looking at Jessica. And I was finally like, okay, girl power, like, what's your story? She's like, oh my God, Tom Ferry, like, I did this video, like, and we became fast friends overnight. It's an important distinction beyond just mutual respect that we both have for, is that you found a model, right? Someone that you could say, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. Have you always used the power of modeling? And if so, what advice do you have for people in terms of finding that role model so they can figure it out and take it to the next level?
I think that's a great idea. Like, even just if you want to start on your Instagram, find some agents that are doing it well. And what does their bio look like? Like, what kind of things are they posting? Like, don't copy them, but you can use that as inspiration. Same with video. And I know you say it all the time on your podcast, like, you have to get in front of the camera. There's no excuse. Like, we've all heard it. Like, oh, your first listing appointment ever. Like, I remember being so nervous and feeling so underqualified. And these people are never going to hire me to list their house, and going in so nervous, sitting at their dining room table. But guess what? Now I've been on hundreds and hundreds of listing appointments. I'm not nervous going in. Same with video. Like, it's not going to be comfortable the first time you go on film, but it'll get easier. And you just have to stop the excuses. Like, you just have to get in front of the camera. Don't worry about it. Act like you're talking, to your client. I write a script. I think that helps. I write a script for every one of my home of the day videos. The only time I'm on camera is when I'm welcoming people to the home of the day. And then when it's my voiceover, I'm actually reading from a script. So that can help you as well. So you're prepared, or else you'll be there for 5 hours doing a bunch of retakes. And just definitely just implement it and be consistent, and it'll pay off for sure. And people, you're going to help with your branding and all of that.
Big time. How close are you to one take Shannon?
I mean, it's getting there. It's more when you're shooting in front of a house, it's more like airplanes, dog barking, landscaping, waiting for the car to pass. Oh, a truck just drove by. Like, sometimes it can take hours because of that, but it's definitely gotten so much easier over time. And now I'm on a show called American Dream TV, which airs on CBS now in our local market. So it's been really cool. And I really just highly suggest everybody does it. And even if you don't have your own listings, like, there's plenty of different videos you can do. You can go to my website and see, like, we've done client appreciation event videos. And lately I've been doing a lot of restaurant videos and local businesses. Like, there's so many things you can do. And even if you don't have any listings, go to a neighborhood and do a video there. And I really believe in the power of professional video, just like professional photography years ago was not as common, but you have to, I believe, invest in that professional video.
So Shannon, you've shared a ton. I knew I wanted to be mindful of your time and my time today, but I wanted to get you on this show. I wanted to recognize that you are just you're a force. Like I was gonna say a fireball, but I think force is the better word. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to be in this business for a long time?
I think so. I mean, I'm going on 15 years.
Yeah.
And I think if you keep your why at the forefront and you're helping people with where they're going to raise their family and all of that, keeping that first, you won't get as burnt out and overwhelmed and all of that. Like I'll go show a $200,000 house today. Like people can't believe it. They're like, Shannon, wow, you really will show me a $200,000 home? Yes, it's your home. Like, who am I to say, oh, I don't deal with that price range? Like we're just got to help people and stay consistent.
So play a game with me. It's 20 years from today. It's October 2040. What advice would you have for yourself today?
Probably something about the amount of hours I work. I know I need to probably delegate more. So that'd probably be the advice that I'd give my younger self. Like, Shannon, stop running all of your own ads. And I'm like, but I'm the only one that knows how to do it this way. And yeah, probably.
That's good advice. So I'll hit you with one last question. So if you could never talk to agents again forever, a lot of people are going to listen to this and watch this. What's that one piece of advice you wish the entire industry would take on that would make their life better, their business better, their experience in this business better?
I think focusing on modern marketing and branding and just the basics. Like I use Agent Image for my website. I'm really proud of my website. Like so many websites are all the same. Like they don't even have an About Us page. Like just making things a little bit like prettier and, having a domain name for your email address, like all those things that really aren't that hard. They're not very expensive, but I guess my advice would just be to work on your branding, like Google yourself. What do you find? I don't know if that answers your question.
No, so much of, as the world continues to speed up, we talked about it this year at the summit, as the world continues to speed up and you've got more and more arbitrage players coming into the marketplace, trying to inject themselves into the $86 billion of U.S. commissions from real estate agents. One of the ways to separate yourself is to create that shining brand so people recognize you and say, Shannon, will you list my house? Right? That you have to be intentional to make that happen. So I think it's a very, very solid point. So as we wrap, first of all, thank you for being on the show. Brenda, thank you for posting that and all these peeps that were like, you got to get Shannon on the show. So again, super proud of you and honored to have you in our community and ecosystem. So this will be out soon for my friends out there watching. Shannon, what's your Instagram? Like, where should they follow you?
Yes, come follow me on Instagram at Shannon_Gillette. I respond to every DM. So I know I threw a lot at everyone today. So they're like, hey, Shannon, how do you do this? Like, I'm happy to help and respond. So.
Yeah. We had another one of our clients down in Miami recently, Sarah, a newer agent, 3-4 years in the business, killing it. And she just got inundated with questions. So I'm assuming for my friends out there listening, if you hit her up with a question, you're going to get a bunch of really good answers because this gal's got a lot of wisdom right now when it comes to how do you build your brand and be that agent of choice. So Shannon, thank you again for being on the show. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. For my friends out there watching, give us a like, maybe share this with a friend of yours that's been afraid to maybe jump into video, and maybe, just maybe, Shannon's message will get them over the fence and doing modern marketing the way we all should be doing. So Tom Ferry Podcast, we're out. Thanks so much.